Marcus Chen was a self-made billionaire, a man who built his empire from the ground up through relentless discipline and an unwavering work ethic. At 32 years old, he controlled a real estate portfolio worth over $500 million, owned 3 luxury hotels, and had investments spread across tech companies and startups. His penthouse office on the 45th floor of downtown's most prestigious building commanded a view of the entire city, and from up here, everything looked perfect. Everything except his marriage. He first noticed something was off on a Tuesday afternoon when his business partner texted him a photo. Not words, just a photo. In it, Marcus's wife Jennifer was sitting at a table in the lobby of the Ritz-Carlton, laughing with genuine warmth. Her hand was resting on the arm of a man Marcus had never seen before. The guy was younger, maybe 30, with the kind of looks that turned heads. They weren't just sitting close, they were intimate. The way she looked at him, Marcus had never seen Jennifer look at him that way anymore. His stomach dropped as he stared at the image on his phone screen. Marcus zoomed in on her face, looking for something that would tell him this was innocent. Maybe it was a business meeting. Maybe it was a friend of the family. But the way she was dressed, the way her body leaned toward the man, the pure joy in her expression, this wasn't business. This wasn't friendship. This was betrayal. He tried calling her 3 times that afternoon. Each time it went to voicemail. When she finally called back at 6 o'clock, her voice was bright and casual, like nothing was wrong. "Hey babe, what's up?" she said, and Marcus kept his tone neutral. "Where are you?" he asked carefully. "At the mall." "Shopping." "Why? Do you need something?" She could hear noise in the background, but it wasn't the sound of a shopping mall. It sounded like a restaurant or lounge, with the soft murmur of conversation and clinking glasses. "Nah, I'm good. Just wanted to check in," he said, already knowing she was lying. "Okay, well, I'll be home around 8. "Maybe we can order dinner?" she offered. "Sure," Marcus said, but he was already pulling up the images on his phone again. His wife was cheating on him. This wasn't a suspicion anymore. This was a fact. When Jennifer walked through the door that evening, she was glowing. Her hair had been freshly done. Marcus could tell by the way it fell in perfectly sculpted waves. She was wearing a dress she'd claimed she didn't have time to get altered, the one that sat in her closet for 3 months. She smelled like expensive perfume, and the kind of confidence that comes from feeling desired by someone who wasn't her husband. "Hey, baby," she said, kissing his cheek without really looking at him. She was checking her phone, her fingers moving across the screen in quick, practiced motions. Marcus watched her and made a decision. He couldn't confront her yet. If he did, she'd deny everything or pack her bags before he had any real proof. What he needed was evidence, the kind that would hold up in court, the kind that would protect him from whatever money grab she had planned. He was going to test her. He was going to find out exactly how far she would go, and he was going to catch her doing it. That night, Marcus sat in his office with his lawyer, Mr. Peters, and his oldest friend, James. The office was all dark wood and leather, the kind of room that made serious decisions. Peters was already reviewing something on his laptop, his reading glasses perched on his nose. James paced by the window, looking out at the city lights below. "I saw her with him," Marcus said simply. Clear as day. They were at the Ritz, and they were together. Peters looked up from his screen. "You have photos?" Marcus nodded. "My partner sent them to me." Peters leaned back in his chair and removed his glasses. "Okay, but photos of them sitting together at a hotel isn't necessarily proof of infidelity. We'd need more. We'd need to know what they're doing, where they're going. We'd need witnesses, or even better, documented evidence of the affair." James stopped pacing. "Why are you talking about all this like you're already getting divorced?" Marcus leaned back and stared at the ceiling for a moment. because I don't know if I want to stay married to someone who would do this. But if she's going to throw our relationship away, I'm not letting her throw my money away too. I need solid proof. I need to catch her red-handed." Peters nodded, understanding the legal implications. "What are you thinking?" Marcus sat forward, his jaw clenched. "I'm going to test her. I'm going to make her think I'm dying. I'm going to see what she does when she thinks I'm about to be gone." James stopped pacing. "Bro, that's cold. That's real cold. She's the one who's cold," Marcus shot back. "I'm just going to make her show it." Peters started taking notes on his legal pad. "Okay, listen. If we do this, we have to be smart about it. You'll need medical documentation. You'll need to record things, but legally. You can record in your own home as long as it's just audio in shared spaces. For video, it gets trickier, but we can work with that. The key is having airtight evidence when this goes to court." Marcus pulled out his phone and scrolled to his contact list. "Dr. Chen is my friend from college. He's a doctor. I think he'd help me with this. He'd give me fake test results, nothing crazy, just something that sounds serious enough to keep her here, but not so serious that she tries to commit me to a hospital. A degenerative disease," Peters said, thinking out loud. "Something that progresses slowly, something that would make you bedridden eventually, but not immediately. That way you can observe her behavior over time. See how she really treats you once she thinks you're dying." "Exactly," Marcus said. "And I'll need cameras. In the bedroom, the living room, common areas, anywhere she might bring him." The next morning, Marcus called Dr. Chen and explained the situation. Dr. Chen was hesitant at first. "This is crazy, man," he said over the phone. But when Marcus explained what Jennifer had been doing, Dr. Chen agreed to help. They met at a coffee shop across town, somewhere private. "I'll tell her you have a rare autoimmune disorder," Dr. Chen explained, sketching it out on a napkin. "It's degenerative, progressive. You'll get weaker over time. Eventually you'll be bedridden. I'll say maybe 6 months to a year, depending on how it progresses." Marcus leaned forward. "Make it sound real but not hospital-level serious. I need her to keep me at home. I need her to think she's got time to play around before I'm gone." Dr. Chen slid the napkin across the table. "This is messed up, but okay. Let's do it." That afternoon, Dr. Chen came to Marcus's mansion to deliver the news to both of them. Jennifer was sitting on the couch, her phone in her hand, when the doctor walked in. She immediately put the phone down and took Marcus's hand, the concerned wife suddenly on full display. "Yes, Marcus told Jennifer he ran some tests on him the other day as he was dizzy, and also told results would come to their home." Dr. Chen sat across from them with a tablet, his expression carefully arranged to look somber. "I've reviewed all of Marcus's tests," Dr. Chen began, his voice taking on that official doctor tone. "Multiple times to make sure I wasn't missing anything. Unfortunately, the diagnosis is confirmed. Marcus has a rare autoimmune disorder. His immune system is attacking his body at a cellular level." Jennifer's grip on Marcus's hand tightened. "What does that mean? Can you treat it?" "We can manage the symptoms," Dr. Chen said carefully. "But there's no cure. The disease is progressive. Over the next several months to a year, Marcus will experience increasing fatigue, muscle weakness, and eventually, he'll have difficulty with basic activities. He'll need care. He'll need to stay home. He'll need rest." Jennifer's eyes filled with tears. Fake tears, the kind she could turn on and off at will. She leaned her head on Marcus's shoulder and squeezed his hand. "Oh my God, we're going to get through this, baby. I promise you. I'm going to take care of you. I'm not going anywhere." Marcus felt nothing when she said it. No comfort, no warmth. Just cold calculation from a woman he thought he knew. The next morning, Marcus woke up coughing softly. He'd been practicing the performance all night. Jennifer was already up, already dressed, her makeup done, her hair perfect. She moved around the bedroom efficiently, like she had somewhere to be. like she was in a hurry. "Where are you going?" Marcus asked, his voice weak and tired. "Out, baby. I got some errands to run. Gotta go to the salon, pick up some stuff from the store, you know how it is." Marcus nodded slowly. "I thought maybe we could spend some time together today. You know, while I can still get around a little bit." Jennifer sat on the edge of the bed and kissed his forehead. It was quick, sterile, meaningless. "Baby, you need rest. I'll be more helpful if I get out for a bit and clear my head. Plus, I want to look good for you, you know, for when you're feeling better." She didn't even believe her own lies. She was already planning her next move, already calculating how much time she had before she could leave him. "I hired a nurse, by the way," Jennifer said, standing up and grabbing her purse. "Her name is Diane. She's coming in a couple hours. She's going to take good care of you while I'm out." "Okay," Marcus said quietly. Jennifer didn't even look back as she left. The door clicked shut, and Marcus was alone in the massive mansion. He pulled out his phone and texted Mr. Peters. "She left. She's going to see him. I can feel it." Peters texted back, "Let her go. Let her do what she does. We're building a case." 2 hours later, Diane arrived. She was a woman in her mid-20s with kind eyes and an efficient, professional manner. She helped Marcus to the living room couch, made sure he was comfortable, brought him water and some light snacks. She was exactly what a nurse should be, attentive, caring, genuinely concerned about his well-being. Marcus felt a twinge of guilt for deceiving her. She had no idea this was all a setup. She actually believed he was dying. "You just rest, okay?" Diane said, adjusting the pillows behind his back. "If you need anything, just call me. I'll be in the kitchen." "Thank you," Marcus said, and he meant it. For the rest of the day, Marcus pretended to sleep while Diane went about her work. He could hear her in the kitchen, preparing meals, cleaning. Every so often she'd check on him, making sure he was breathing normally, wasn't in pain. She was the complete opposite of Jennifer. She was the kind of person who actually cared about taking care of someone, who didn't see illness as an inconvenience but as something that required patience and love. Jennifer didn't come home until after 9 o'clock that night. When she walked through the door, Marcus was sitting on the couch, looking weak and exhausted. She barely glanced at him before heading upstairs to shower and change. When she came back down, she smelled like different perfume, not the one she'd left wearing that morning. Different perfume meant a different encounter, or at least an encounter that left her changed. "How was your day?" she asked casually, sitting on the opposite end of the couch, her phone already in her hand. "Tiring," Marcus said. "The doctor said rest is important." "Did you have fun?" "Yeah, the usual. Shopping, lunch with some girls, nothing crazy." She was lying, and she was doing it so easily that Marcus realized this wasn't the first time. This had been going on for longer than just a few weeks. This was a pattern. This was a life she'd been living on the side while playing house with him. Over the next 3 weeks, a pattern emerged. Jennifer would leave in the morning, dressed up and ready. She'd be gone for hours. Diane would stay with Marcus, taking care of him, feeding him, making sure he took his medicine. And then Jennifer would come back, smelling like perfume and cologne, her hair slightly messy, her lipstick freshly applied. Marcus had cameras installed throughout the mansion, hidden ones, legal ones. Peters had made sure everything was documented properly. One Tuesday afternoon, when Marcus heard Jennifer's car pull into the garage, he also heard a second car. A man's voice. The boyfriend's voice. Marcus recognized it from the photos. Jennifer led him upstairs quietly, thinking Marcus was asleep in the guest room. But Marcus was watching on the camera feed from his phone, hidden in his pocket. He watched as Jennifer kissed the man passionately in their bedroom. He watched as they kissed each other. He watched as they lay in the bed that Marcus had bought, in the mansion that Marcus had paid for, while downstairs, Diane was preparing dinner for the dying man she thought she was taking care of. The videos kept coming. Day after day, the boyfriend would show up, sometimes in the afternoon, sometimes in the evening. Jennifer would sneak him upstairs while Diane was in the kitchen or outside watering the plants. They'd spend hours up there, and then the boyfriend would leave through the garage so the neighbors wouldn't see him. One time, Marcus watched as Jennifer and the boyfriend lay in bed talking. "How much longer do you think?" the boyfriend asked. Jennifer was silent for a moment. Then she said, "The doctor said 6 months to a year. But he's already looking pretty bad. Could be sooner. Either way, once he's gone, we're golden. I'll inherit everything. We can go anywhere we want. Private islands, Europe, wherever." The boyfriend kissed her. "I love you, babe." Jennifer smiled. "I love you too, just a little bit longer." Marcus felt something break inside him when he heard those words. His wife wasn't just cheating on him. She was planning his death. She was counting on it. She was hoping for it. 3 weeks later, Marcus made his move. He had enough footage. He had enough evidence. He had recordings of Jennifer and the boyfriend together, footage of them in his bed, audio of them discussing his death and her inheritance. Peters had compiled it all into a legal file that would hold up in any court. One afternoon, Marcus called Jennifer and the boyfriend down to the living room. Diane had the day off. It was just the three of them in the massive mansion. Jennifer came downstairs looking confused, the boyfriend following nervously behind her. Marcus was sitting on the couch, and next to him was Mr. Peters, along with 2 security guards. "What's going on?" Jennifer demanded, her eyes darting between Marcus and the guards. "Sit down," Marcus said, his voice strong and clear, not weak, not dying. "Both of you." Jennifer's face went white. "Marcus, I can explain. Sit. Down." They sat. Marcus pulled out his phone and pressed play. On the big screen TV in front of them, footage appeared. Video of Jennifer and the boyfriend together in Marcus's bed. Video of them kissing, touching, laughing. Then the audio started playing. Their conversation about Marcus's death, about the inheritance, about their plans. Jennifer tried to speak, but no words came out. The boyfriend stood up. "This is crazy. I'm out of here." Security blocked the door. "You're not going anywhere until we've finished," Peters said calmly. Marcus stared at his wife. "You know what the worst part is? It's not that you cheated. It's not even that you did it in my bed, in my house, while I was downstairs. The worst part is that you were happy. You were genuinely happy when you were planning my death. That's when you smiled the biggest." Jennifer started crying, but these were real tears now. "Marcus, please. I made a mistake. I was confused. He was just what? A distraction? A way to pass the time before I died?" Marcus shook his head. "You wanted me dead, Jennifer. You were counting on it. You were going to take my money and run off with this guy and live your best life while my family buried me." Peters stood up. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to sign divorce papers that I've already drawn up. You're going to relinquish all claims to Marcus's assets, his properties, his company, everything. You're going to accept 0 alimony. And because of your infidelity and your conspiracy to potentially harm Marcus, you're both going to pay him a penalty of $100,000 each." Jennifer's face crumbled. "I don't have that kind of money." "Figure it out," Peters said coldly. "You've got 30 days. The boyfriend was furious. "This is blackmail. This is illegal." "No," Peters corrected him. "This is the consequence of your actions. You can fight us in court if you want, but then all of this footage becomes public record. Your employers will see it. Your family will see it. Your friends will see it. Or you can take the deal, pay the penalty, and disappear quietly. The boyfriend looked at Jennifer, then back at Peters. "We'll take the deal." 6 months later, Marcus stood in his penthouse office signing the final paperwork for his divorce. Jennifer had taken the deal. She'd scraped together the $100,000, most of it borrowed from her parents, and left the city with the boyfriend. But Marcus would later hear what happened to her, and it wasn't the fairy tale she'd planned. The real miracle in all of this was Diane. After the confrontation, Marcus had told Diane the truth about his fake illness. He expected her to be angry, betrayed. Instead, she'd been understanding. "I suspected something was off," she'd admitted. "The way your wife acted around you, the way she was always disappearing. But I also saw the real you when you thought nobody was watching. You're a good man, Marcus. You didn't deserve that." Meanwhile, Jennifer's story took a turn she never expected. The boyfriend, whose real name was Devin, had left her just 3 months after they fled the city. He'd met a wealthy hotel heiress at a resort where they were staying, and he did exactly to Jennifer what he'd done to Diane. He took Jennifer's money, used her body, and disappeared with the new woman. But this time, there was no billionaire to rescue her. No mansion waiting. No second chances. Jennifer found herself on the streets of Miami, with nothing but her designer clothes and a shattered pride. She tried selling her jewelry, but the pieces she'd pawned off Marcus were mostly replicas. She tried finding work, but without experience and with a tattered reputation, no one would hire her. The irony was cruel. She'd spent months plotting Marcus's death so she could inherit his wealth. She'd betrayed a good man and abandoned a woman who had shown her nothing but kindness through Diane's presence in the home. Now she was experiencing exactly what Diane had experienced: desperation, hunger, and the cold indifference of a world that didn't care about her story. One rainy afternoon, 3 years after leaving Marcus's mansion, Jennifer stood on a street corner in downtown Miami, soaking wet, her hair matted, her clothes torn. She was holding a cardboard sign asking for money. She barely recognized herself in the reflection of store windows. The beautiful, confident woman who'd played Marcus had been replaced by a hollow shell. She'd aged 10 years in 3. Her skin was weathered from sleeping outside. Her eyes had lost their sparkle. She was just another beggar on the street, invisible to the thousands of people who walked past her every day. Sometimes, late at night, huddled under a bridge, Jennifer would think about Marcus. She wondered if he was happy. She wondered if he ever thought about her. She knew she could never go back, could never face him. Her choices had led her here. Every lie she'd told, every betrayal, every cruel word had been paid back in full by the universe. She'd wanted Marcus's wealth so badly that she'd sacrificed her own humanity. And now, she had nothing at all. Over the following months, as Marcus recovered from his emotional wounds, Diane had been there. She'd transitioned from nurse to something else, a companion, a friend, eventually something more. She saw him at his most vulnerable, and instead of judging him, she'd supported him. She didn't care about his money. She cared about him. 1 year after the divorce was finalized, Marcus proposed to Diane in the same mansion where he'd caught his wife cheating. Diane said yes without hesitation. They got married in a small ceremony with close friends and family. Jennifer sent a card congratulating them. It was the last contact they'd ever have. Marcus's company was thriving. The loyal employees were still there, still building something great. His real estate empire had expanded. He was richer than ever. But more importantly, he was happy. He was with someone who loved him for who he was, not for what he had. Sometimes, late at night, Marcus would think back to that day when he got the photo of his wife with another man. It had felt like the worst day of his life, but in a strange way, it had also been a gift. It had forced him to see the truth about Jennifer, to see who she really was beneath the beautiful exterior and the sweet words. And in losing her, he'd found someone far more valuable. Someone who understood that real love wasn't about money or status. It was about showing up, being present, and choosing someone every single day. Marcus had learned his lesson about reading people, and more importantly, he'd learned that sometimes the test we give others is really a test of ourselves, a test of how we handle the truth, no matter how painful it might be.